Today in Flex in the City, we talk to Francesca Prym, CEO of UBS Fund Management Luxembourg and head of UBS Mancos Europe, who believes in the power of energy, courage, and constant challenge to achieve and maintain success and increase diversity by embracing cross-sector recruitment in financial services. All that happening right now in Flex and the City.
Hello, everybody. This is Rachel Treese for Flex in the City. And today we are in Bella Italia. So I've got the pleasure of interviewing Francesca Prym. Francesca is the CEO of UBS Fund Management in Luxembourg and also the head of UBS Mancos in Europe. Buongiorno, Francesca.
Buongiorno. Good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon. My Italian isn't so good, but I do like the accent. I like playing with the accent. It's a beautiful, è la lingua d'amore, isn't it?
La lingua d'amore, correct.
Absolutely.
Correct.
So thank you for being with us on Flex in the City. So because I'm an Italian fan, I'd love to know a little bit about your journey and how you came to be in Luxembourg from the beautiful city of Florence. So tell us a little bit about how that happened, Francesca.
My parents are Italian. I'm born in Florence and I moved to Luxembourg in 2000, so 24 years ago, not for business, but for love.
Oh,
it was a common adventure with my husband, who is not Italian. He's half Belgian and half German. At that time, he was my friend. Our first idea was to stay in Luxembourg a couple of years, maximum 3. And then we bought the house, we bought the apartment, we sold the apartment, we bought the house. I got the nationality. The kids are born in Luxembourg. They go to local school. They speak 5 languages. And I feel home in Luxembourg.
Yeah, I totally understand. I have a 17-year-old also here who's desperate to go to Italy, by the way. So we need a conversation about that. That's for sure. So tell me about your role in leadership. Your role incorporates an awful lot about leadership. So tell me a little bit about what leadership means for you and in your work at UBS.
Look, first of all, I'm not sure that I see me as a leader, but I think that there are a few topics in which I'm not so bad. The first one, hiring good people and supporting their career, empowering them. This is also important, giving them visibility. And I'm not scaring in taking decisions. So I take decisions. Did I make some mistakes in the past? For sure. But at least I take decisions. Final point, what is important when you manage a company or even a team is to pass energy. So I have a lot of energy, which I try to transmit to the teams, which helps as well.
Mm-hmm. I couldn't agree more. Energy is everything, both in leadership and as a mother. So you have 2 kids, Francesca, a 14-year-old and a 17-year-old?
17 the boy and 14 the girl, yes.
Yeah. So do they know what you do, Francesca?
They are teenagers, so they know more or less what I do. If you ask my daughter, she will reply that I'm on the phone the full day and I speak English with an Italian accent. However, they don't care. The moment I'm there when they need something, they are fine.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So they're speaking 5 languages here in Luxembourg. Yes. Absolutely. And would you counsel them to join the financial services industry? Do you think they have any interest in joining financial services? Your children?
For the moment, they don't have any interest in. So, Charlotte wants to become doctor and she wants to go to Wien. And my son wants to become engineer. So they have 0 interest in joining the financial sector. But of course, they have to do their life. So
absolutely,
we have to support them.
Yeah. So what are the skills that you think are needed by young people who are entering the industry now? Times have changed an awful lot since you and I entered the industry. What are the skill sets that you think the industry are looking for now?
But for me, there are 2 important things. So the first one is the open mindset and also the flexibility. which they need that you have. We need in asset management, not only in UBS, but in general in asset management, also some technical skills, risk management, for example, compliance and portfolio management. But why the flexibility is important? Because we never know what happens in a big group. I can give you an example. We are working now for years in a project consisting in opening FML branches in Europe. And for me, it was the big project over the next 3-4 years as well. And then UBS acquired Credit Suisse, and we need to integrate Credit Suisse at the same time. So we need a certain flexibility in review the organization, the control framework, because such things happen, and they happen on a regular basis. Second point, to the young generation, which, by the way, I like. I don't lose one single event, for example, with the university, Luxembourg School of Business, Alfie, Next Generation, because it's important to keep this dialogue with the next generation. They have to be patient. They cannot pretend to get promoted after 6 months, and sometimes they should consider the global package of the company and not only the salary. So what are the opportunities which I have in the company to grow in terms of career? I mean, this is also important.
Absolutely.
And maybe one final point is the fact that, in particular for the people who come from the university, okay, they have a certain mindset and they start working on tasks. It's important that they understand the global picture, not only the single task which they have to perform. Because by doing that, they can realize if they like the sector and if they like the job. And if they want to remain in the sector, maybe they want to move to another one.
Absolutely. Is there any other advice that you'd give to a young person who was starting in the industry? I mean, that's great advice already. Is there anything else that you'd share?
He or she has to remain updated at the level of the regulation, because there are many changes at the level of regulation, in particular in Europe. So it's important to continue follow trainings and to continue to work on the expertise. I mean, if I take as example a risk manager, usually they are people, master, 5 years experience, 5 years university degrees. When they come, they need to pass the CFA or the FRM. And then after the CFA and the FRM, they have to continue to get updated, to receive feedbacks and updates on the regulation. This is key.
What is it that you think, Francesca, that financial services can do to attract more young talent to the industry?
We can do. I think that first of all, we are doing a great job, because we are trying, at least in Luxembourg, to do more and more. Maybe what we should do more compared to the past is to see, or when you come from the university, you have an idea about what you wanted to do. Okay, I have a specialization, for example, in financial markets or in risk management, and I start in the risk management department. Maybe we should decide to have the juniors in different teams for I don't know, the first 2-3 years for us, in order to see if they fit other profiles on top of their background, and for them to see if they also want to do other things. So you can start in the risk management, and maybe after a couple of years you prefer to join another department, or maybe you want to go back to compliance. This is the first one. And the second point for me, it's also an open mindset, in the sense that you can always change or decide to change your sector. And maybe the mistake, which we did it years ago, was just that you hire people coming from the financial sector. If you take a good project manager, he or she can come from the industrial one. A good risk manager, he or she needs to understand the numbers. Take an engineer, he can also understand the numbers. So, and this is something which we need to implement, or at least we have to improve in the financial sector.
Yeah, so being a bit more open-minded in the kind of profile.
Cross-sector recruitment, I would say. Yeah. Cross-sector recruitment.
Yeah,
also,
absolutely.
because we don't find talents. So we need to find a way to attract people.
Absolutely. So when you're not doing these really important jobs, and outside of financial services, being a wonderful mother, is there something else that you love doing?
I do a lot of things.
Tell us.
I do a lot of things. I'm quite active. First of all, sport is part of my family. My kids, for example, they play tennis every day. not only Luxembourg, but everywhere in Europe. With my husband, we run, we swim, we go to fitness between 3 and 4 times per week. So it's important for me to keep the sport, to keep my balance, body, professional and private balance. I also like dinner with friends. I have an open house. So friends of my kids, our friends, but maybe as first motivation for me is that we travel a lot with the family. We went everywhere, not only in Europe, but also in Asia, in Africa, in America. So traveling is really part of our DNA.
Fantastic. And which is the place in the planet that you found the most enlightening, surprising, wonderful as a family?
I liked Vietnam and Cambodia. We went years ago. I was impressed by Tanzania. At the beginning, I did not want to do a safari. My husband needed three years to convince me. And then it was fantastic. But everywhere when I go, I find something. So I repeat, not only Europe, but I also like to travel in Asia and in Africa.
Absolutely. So we're back to this word energy. So this energy is the word of your podcast, energy. What is it that you think, Francesca, that financial services could learn from this energy, be it sport, be it tennis? What is the energy that financial services needs to bring into it?
Challenge. For me, there is one word, a challenge. We have to continue challenging ourselves. So I'm promoting within the organization to be challenged by the teams. And by the way, this is something which I have very well implemented, if I can say something. I'm also challenging the top management in Switzerland, but we have to continue to challenge. If you want to promote the market, if you want to promote Luxembourg, we have to challenge and not to be afraid in saying, okay, it doesn't work. We have to change something. This is what we can propose. And then maybe we take a decision which is not immediately the good one. We can always address the situation. But we really need to promote the business, to promote the country, and to challenge ourselves. What are the gaps? And by the way, this is something which we are doing. I have been invited to a workshop. I was there last week with a few big fours, SSF, and also the Minister of Finance in order to see how we can better promote Luxembourg. We have to continue working on that.
Absolutely. I'm passionate about promoting Luxembourg. So, and I'm feeling the word courage, challenge and having the courage to bring about those changes that are constantly needed, Francesca. So just to touch a little bit on UBS, how would you describe the culture at UBS?
We are open. We are transparent. And by the way, I was surprised, but in a positive way at the beginning, because people are so transparent. Then when something doesn't work, they come to you and they say, look, we don't agree, let's discuss. And this is exactly what I like. We have the same here in Luxembourg, but this is a really commitment or mentality from the group. And also what I said about challenge at the level of Luxembourg is just what I see here in UBS, because sometimes we take some decisions, they are not the good one, we change, okay, it's not important, we change. We can make mistakes because we are human and the mistakes are accepted. It's very important for us, the concept of diversity and inclusion, not only gender, let me say that, but because our clients become more and more complex, they have access to all information. The expectations are higher compared to years ago. So it's important to have people coming from different locations with different backgrounds who can bring different ideas on the table, which of course then we can discuss all together.
So if you were able to give me a metaphor for the culture, is there a metaphor that comes to mind for the kind of culture that there is at UBS, this wonderfully transparent culture that you talk about?
Transparent and challenge.
Yeah, transparent and challenge. So talking about challenges, what are the challenges that you've experienced in your own career, Francesca, and how might you have overcome them?
Look, at the end, it was an opportunity. But let me say that in 25 years of career, it's normal to have some difficult moments. But I think the worst one was when I was working as MD in a company, which I will not mention during the podcast. And in this company, the role of females leaders was really complicated. The positive thing is that I learned a lot about the relationship between business and culture. Finally, it was a good opportunity because without this experience, which I repeat, it was not a positive one, but it was an experience, I would not be here today. And I will not be the CEO of FML today.
So in other words, what I hear you saying is that this experience has allowed you to grow, and it's allowed the growth that you needed as a human being and as a leader. So
Correct. So also the age, not only the experience, but maybe the age as well. But we are speaking here about 10 years ago. But yes, both.
Very good.
I would not be here without this experience.
Fantastic. So if you could wave a magic wand, if you were the fairy godmother, Francesca, of this financial services industry, and you could wave a wand, what is it that you would change about this great industry?
Nothing in Luxembourg. I mean, I repeat, I think we are doing a great job at the level of associations, not only the ALFI, but LPA or BBL, more at the level of Europe. So I would ask eventually Europe to be more consistent in case of new regulations. What happens now is that there is a directive, European directive, and the transposition is not done in the same way in the different countries, in all jurisdictions. IML is an example, Germany, Ireland, Luxembourg, France. And this situation is creating discrepancies at the level of control framework, portfolio management, with a big impact on business opportunities. And this is something Europe, they are there is a FAMA, so we should improve this part. We should be more consistent.
More consistent, absolutely. So my final question for today, Francesca, is around Italy. And in Italy, you have the most amazing food and the most amazing wines. What is a really great metaphor that you could give me for what Italian food and wine and culture could bring to the financial services industry?
To the financial service industry?
Yeah. Pizza, pasta, amore.
Both. Italian food in general. So Italian food in general with a lot of vegetables. And by the way, my husband is half German and I cook at home. So the rule is I could not leave a German husband to cook at home, with all my respects, because...
So it's this energy and vibrancy of the Italian food that we need to bring to financial services. Francesca, thank you so much for being with us on Flex in the City. It's been a joy having you on. Thank you for joining us on the podcast today. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rachel. Bye-bye.
Bye.
You just listened to Flex in the City. Catch us on our next episode.